This week, I read a very interesting post that was shared by Lala, a member of the WB community. And this post was written by Shann Puri, one of the hosts of My First Million podcast. And he speaks about how important it is to control one's mood. Like, for us to figure out how to, first of all, realize that we are in a bad mood and how to get out of it. This is so important. And this past week, with all my hard work, I have so many things because I also have the freelancing on top that I feel that I cannot keep up. So it's been more than a week since I left my house because I work from home, and I'm really feeling like a bad mood. In general, I feel like a bad mood, and I can see this affecting my mental health. I'm getting more discouraged, a little bit more depressed. So when I read this, it kind of clicked, and it basically tells that we should be able to detect when we are having bad moods, and also to know ourselves and know how to control it. So for me, the first thing that comes to my mind when I'm having this kind of mood is that I want to eat shit. Basically, I want to eat like sugar and fries and all of that. And this is kind of a cycle, because when I do that, then I feel bad, even like worse, because I feel that I'm eating poorly besides not exercising. So it's a never ending cycle. So I'm not saying that, of course, sometimes it's important to know that a little bit of sugar or a little treat will also help you, but not too much, right? So you really need to figure out what works for you. It gives a bunch of exercises that you can do. For instance, you can listen to music, you can meditate, you can do like actual exercise, go run, do push-ups, or you can just disconnect. There's many other things. We need to figure out what works best for us. And one thing, he also speaks about patience, and we're just now speaking about patience. And he says that he was very impatient. And quite often when we feel that, okay, we are nervous, we don't know what to do, we just want to do something, take action. And what he says is that, and I paraphrase, impatience with action, patience with results. So he claims that the best approach here is, okay, if you feel that something is wrong, that you need to improve something, sit down and take some action. Analyze all your data. Sometimes it's just an impression, right? Like sometimes I feel that the community engagement is going down, but then I have actually a graph that shows me the engagement, and I see that it's not going down, right? So I can feel that it was just in my mind, but the data doesn't lie, right? So first of all, analyze in a very unbiased way, check the data, and then figure out things that work and come up with a plan and start acting on that plan. But then be patient with the results. That's what he also says in this post. Things take time, anything in life takes time. And with indie projects, it's the same. I mean, you build a feature, but first you need to attract users to see the feature. They need time to see the feature, and they need time to react to the feature. This is not instant. It might take 1, 2 days, 1 week, even more. Like SEO, for instance. You write a blog post, you cannot expect to immediately start having thousands of people coming from Google. It takes time. Google has to index, people have to watch it and read it, and the session duration needs to increase. It takes time. So what it says here, and I found it really interesting, is being patient with action. Okay, if you feel that something is wrong, do something to change it now, and then wait. Then be patient to collect the results. So I found this really, really interesting. And even when we look to these people that have really a lot of success, always think that you are only seeing the success. You are not seeing the dozens of products that failed, the thousands of hours that they had to work in their craft, and the low moments. You don't see those because we don't like to share them most of the times. And there's a lot of makers that try to share them. I try to do that in this podcast as well, but mostly it success and happiness sells more a lot of the times in this kind of situation, at least. So just think about that, and maybe try to have it feels that now I'm giving you advice, but this is actually advice for me. I'm just speaking to myself. But yeah, try to look at business as business and not as your personal failure or success, and try to take a more rational approach. What can I do to change it? What can I test next? And then let's have some patience and test it. And I think that's really important. And for me, I've been mixing and I think it's normal for makers, but I've been mixing my personal success and my business success too much, to the point that I feel that I cannot do anything else until I fix my business, because otherwise I'm failing as a person. I've talked about this in the past with you, and I still feel this, and this is not healthy, because I feel like I'm missing out in a lot of stuff, and I talked about this frequently, right? The social stuff and everything, but I'm missing out on that. I'm missing out on living other aspects of life that are important, but I cannot do them yet because I feel that I'm failing personally as well. So again, going back to, let's separate things. Yes, business is important, and it's really hard to fully separate from your own persona, especially because we are solopreneurs. But it's important to do that, and it's important to see business with a pragmatic and rational view.